Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another game in the SGS catalog. This one, Pacific D-Day, focuses on all of the island battles, or really the island landings, that the United States did during the Second World War. And we're going to jump in here to a new game. I just want to show you guys some of the options here. I mean, really just some of the greats. We've got the Battle of Tarawa, Saipan, Tinian, every single one of these major fights, of course, all the way down to Iwo Jima, Palelu and Iwo Jima. And of course, much like any other SGS game, you can play against the computer, or you can do a PBEM, play by email with a friend, or even, if you're so inclined, go ahead and do a head-to-head with somebody that you know. So we're going to take a look here at the Battle of Saipan, just to give you guys an idea of what the combat is like. I've already actually loosened the beaches up a bit, tried to knock some of the Japanese guns off those beaches, and now we're moving on to the invasion phase, so you guys will at least get a look on that. Have you guys also seen the American flag? Something a little bit different about it? Alright guys, let's jump into the fight and see how it goes. Naval landings are a core aspect of the game, and here in Saipan, that is no different. Of course, with the Japanese leaving some pillboxes and mines behind to try and stop our forces. The important thing is also momentum. I mean, once we break through here, we have the opportunity to continue our attack inland, and in this particular battle, we have to take this airfield over here, Aslito Airfield. Just goes to show you that each and every battle in this particular game is a true challenge here. We're going for Beach Yellow 2. And again, once we get past those pillboxes and mines, they're going to have a lot more waiting for us inland, some regular troops. But they're already damaging our units before we even get on the beach itself. Much like every other SGS game, there is an air defense mode, there's a card drawing mode, all that good stuff. In this case, in this particular battle, I don't believe we have anything in the way of air defense, although we do have some artillery support from battleships. In fact, a whole bunch of United States Navy fire. And, whoa, what's wrong with me? There is our air support. Let's grab that unit, and we're just going to bring him over here. We can pass through, but not stop at the region. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just let our guy hang out for now, and let's proceed. See if we can get some shots. Maybe we take our shots now. I would love that. Oh, I saw... There we go. Nice. So, of course, we're just dropping some artillery fire on potential Japanese forces there, and we are going to proceed to the replacement phase of the turn. There we go, guys. Now, of course, it's going to be the Japanese Empire playing, and you can play against AI, or you can play against your friends. It's completely up to you with the SGS system. A lot of new interesting abilities here, and one of those abilities is the Night Raid ability. Basically, the Japanese can launch attacks at night against our American units. As you can imagine, this leads to some pretty vicious fights between both, and it's one way for the Japanese enemy to really get a leg up on the American here. As you can see, we are being beaten up pretty bad. I'm hoping we can hold on, and thankfully, we did hold on as the US, but of course, these units... they're not easy to deal with, and they're going to weaken these units over here. You can see the health marker is getting quite low, which is not good for us. I must say also, just the look of these unit cards gets better and better with each game. I love that BAR, just looking absolutely tremendous. Gung-Ho. United States Marine Corps armor or infantry in attack, and it's going to give us +1 morale. A lot of nice cards, and I even like the back of the card there, the Pacific D-Day back. It's just really, really neat. Got Navajo code talkers. Just about anything having to do with these naval landings is going to be present in the game. And actually, our men don't look too worse for wear. It's actually down here at Beach Yellow 1 where we've taken a real nasty hit. But otherwise, we're doing okay getting on land here in Saipan. Now, that would be great if we didn't have to take all of this territory over here. So, of course, it's going to be quite a strategic challenge to get inland and through this mountainous region. We've also got some very useful news items or news articles, and something I really love is that whether you're playing as the Americans or whether you're playing as the Japanese, you're going to be getting your own particular news, depending on the faction you're playing for, of course. Now, air and naval bombardment phases are going to be different for every single one of the maps. The other thing I should mention is, of course, each of these maps are meticulous in terms of the amount of information they offer. And I think to use this particular United States naval carrier, we're going to have to take Asalito Airfield to really be able to use it against those cities. But what we can do in the meantime is try and bombard the enemy with our battleship. And we're going to hit that area right there, Charankanua. You can see that that's not only a supply zone, but it's also a victory location. It's time for the land movement, and there are amphibious landing casualties, so I like how the game properly simulates this. Basically, a lot of these landing craft are not the best, not to mention that depending on the weather coming into the beach or the speed of the landing craft, quite a few of these either hit mines, hit obstacles, or just sunk. It was something that happened during a number of different landing operations, and I think it's well represented here. Now, of course, the land movement phase, pretty similar to other land movement phases here in the SGS catalog. We want to get on that beach, and unfortunately, the way it works in SGS, is basically it's sort of one unit can attack a tile. Occasionally, you can have 2 units assisting. In this case, let me take a look. This movement is not allowed as always bring, so it's simply a question of stack totals here. There's a certain stack total for this tile, and we can't go there. If it was a larger stack total, we might be able to assist. But what we're going to do instead is I'm going to move right past that unit, and I'm going to start conquering the area behind them. And once again, here's a similar issue. We can pass through, but not with that many. So we're just going to take one of these guys. And see, we're moving in single marine units inland to get a visual on the situation. And I must say, that's not looking great. We're going to be coming across some contact pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and engage battle right there, and I'm hoping we can liberate that area from the Japanese, although these guys over here in the north, they're pretty badly beaten up. And the game does a good job at representing that. If you look at the left side of the unit card, those little white chits are what indicate unit health, and also just that health bar right there on the left side. Nonetheless, you know me, I'm always going to go for an attack when I see one. And we can also bring the artillery in to support this battle. See, he's going to fit in just fine, and he's not going to go over the region limit. With the rest of these units, I'm going to keep on pushing in. It looks like we also just received the 27th Infantry HQ, so depending on the fight you're going to have, you are going to have reinforcements. But we got to get those guys off the beach to be able to bring on these HQ units, and besides, they've taken a hit last turn, so I'm going to get them off the beach anyway. Looks like these guys are going to be stuck on yellow 2 for now until we attack, but I think we'll end it there and hope for the best. And let's see, the battle on grid 7664. Now we can go ahead and use another one of our victory cards. It's going to give +1 morale and +1 combat factors, the gung-ho spirit of the United States Marine Corps. And there's a small bunker there. It might not seem too bad, but that's a nasty little machine gun. And we broke through. Now on Beach Red 2N. And they do have, it looks like a dummy brigade. It might be a fake brigade to try and get our guns to focus on that. Nonetheless, I think this will be an easy win. And completely destroyed the enemy units. It's pretty rare that you get a message like that. They're not going to be retreating anywhere. They are completely destroyed. Now, the largest fight that we've got on this initial landing is going to be at Charankanua. This is also where we brought in that naval support, and I'm hoping it's going to do a huge difference. As you can see, look at that United States Navy fire. We've got some enemy tanks. We're going to use our Navajo Code Talkers, and this gives the enemy units a -1 combat bonus. In fact, I think I'll hold on to that card. We don't need to use it for this fight. I'm hoping that the artillery is going to do all of the work for us. Actually, only one of those strikes hit, but it hit where it was supposed to, and that was the tank. But now that I think about it, we could have used those Navajo Code Talkers. We're still dealing with that armored unit right there, and the Japanese Empire, unfortunately, won that fight. Well, the fact is you can't win them all, but obviously that Kanoa area is probably the most important part of the battlefield right now. Of course, these are the victory objectives, but taking that, if you were playing this mission, would be absolutely essential. Now, we've heard about Iwo Jima, Tarawa, maybe even the Solomon Islands, but have we heard about the Battle of Tinian? And that's right. Many different landing fights, of course, in the game. Tinian is one of them, and this is really one of those battles that I actually had to kind of look into, seeing a sort of armored landing approach, and also just a battle I really, frankly, didn't know much about. But as you can see, keeping with the spirit of SGS D-Day Pacific, this is once again one of those landing battles, and let me be clear, if you want to, you can play as the Japanese. You don't have to play as the Americans. As you can see here, guys, if you want to play as the Japanese Empire, that's completely up to you. And as you can see, you get completely different unit cards for each and every operation, of course. I just love sort of this level of detail. I'm going to go ahead and send some Air Force Orphans, also some bunkers, and just look at the defenses here. So, of course, over time, a little different from the American player where you're going to be obviously invading the beach. As the Japanese player, you're going to be getting different unit cards that are going to strengthen certain parts of the island. You'll also not necessarily get reinforcements, but you'll get cards such as night attacks and ambushes to make use of the guerrilla warfare capabilities of a lot of these islands. And, of course, a lot of artillery and machine gun support, as well as support in some cases from the Japanese air and naval forces. Well, I hope to see you guys on the SGS virtual battlefield. And if you have any other games by them that you'd like me to take a look at, please do. Keep in mind, SGS are an independent games company, and they could really use your support. So if you end up picking up a game from them, make sure to leave a review. Catch you on the next one, folks. Thank you so much. Banzai!